and welcome to Simian Soapbox, episode 4. I'm Gavin Knecht.
I'm Alex Holmes.
I'm Ryan Cabrios.
Let's get the show on the road.
Ooga booga.
Okay, good. So I wanted to raise the question of media and in general social media.
Ooh.
Or should I say specifically social media?
Specifically social media? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how much has media changed in the last... Let's start with the last 10 years. I mean, like 10 years ago, were you guys still in school 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Were you in college 10 years ago?
I've got a depressing thought for you guys.
2007. I was in high school.
MySpace had already died 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It'd already been dead for 3-4 years. When did MySpace die?
2009 or 2010.
Oh, okay, no.
I remember because I was still using MySpace in high school and I graduated in 2009.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but
yeah.
I mean, if you look at MySpace, then Facebook came along. Before Facebook, there was Bebo.
I remember Bebo.
I mean, MySpace was pretty crap, though, wasn't it?
What was the other one before that? Xanax?
No idea. Xanax, yeah. I don't know what Xanax is for, but yeah, Xanax is not a social media site.
There was another one before MySpace, but
Live Journal. Live Journal?
Live Journal, that's more of a diary though, isn't it?
I know, but it's one of these sites, isn't it?
Yeah, they've been like blogs around for quite a while, haven't they?
Yeah, blogging, but for social media, well, I guess blogging is part of social media, but I guess the real pioneer, you could say, is MySpace, the real trendsetter. There was one prior to that, but the name eludes me. If you really remember the one prior to MySpace, it does start with an X, to the best of my...
Was Bebo around before MySpace or was it after MySpace?
I couldn't tell you.
Do you remember Bebo?
Good question, Gavin. Good question.
Was it Zanga?
No idea.
Did any of you use Zanga? Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I think it's Zanga. We're looking on Ryan's phone here.
Yeah. Oh my god. This was the big one prior to my... Yep, it was Zanga. Oh, dude.
I've never heard of Zanga.
Okay.
Yeah, but then MySpace came along and added... Did you ever do the top friends, you know?
Of course. Who didn't do the top friends?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that ruined some friendships, man.
Yes,
that
it
ruined
did.
friendships.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
It was like... At first, it was what? Top 4, top 5? And then you could increase the number, and progressively you just had to keep increasing the number because too many friends were getting angry at you.
But they had that with Facebook in the beginning as well, didn't they? Top friends. Could add somebody as top friends.
I don't remember that for two.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, in the very beginning.
I joined Facebook pretty late. You know this, in the beginning there was this Rocketman game, and I totally missed it.
Oh, were those games that were on Facebook that everyone competed on? Like
you know that helicopter game where you have to click to make it go up? Yeah.
My god, that game was the bane of my existence.
Yeah, helicopter game where you had to stop the helicopter falling, you click to make it go up. Yeah, this was this Rocketman game, just with different skins.
Randomly generated green, cliffs or spires or stalagmites or whatever. Oh my goodness, I spent hours practicing because my friends were so good at that game, and the only way we knew how to compete was by posting our scores on Facebook or MySpace.
Photoshop. But yeah, that was the beginning of Facebook, this Rocketman game.
Yeah.
And now nobody's got a clue about it.
Do you remember what the old timeline looked like on Facebook? Well, they didn't have timeline, did they? It was just sort of like...
It was just the wall.
Yeah, it was a wall with...
It was just the wall.
I forget. Oh, do you remember the time when the last 5 photos you were tagged in appeared at the top of your feed? Or appeared at the top of someone's profile, I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
That wasn't... Oh, that was quite a while ago.
That was quite a while. That was when I was at university. I just remember I photoshopped some images, and on Sam, one of my friends at uni, I managed to get across the top of his profile... World's Smallest Penis Award 2011. I was so proud of myself.
That's great. See, I'm so happy that you can hide timeline photos now. So, like, you have the option to choose which ones appear on your wall or on your timeline. Thank goodness for this option.
The privacy settings are pretty good, aren't they, on Facebook as well, so I have to say.
Now more than before, yeah, but then privacy wasn't a problem back in the day.
Wasn't such a hot button topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
How private are your profiles?
I changed my last name because I'm scared if something were to pop up on Facebook and either a current or future employers were to look up my full name, they would see, oh, boom, this, and this.
But
Not
that's
that there's
recent, isn't it?
anything
I remember you've only just changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just recent, but it was for that exact reason. I thought about it, and there's a few of my friends who do have strange names on their Facebooks, and it would be a split of their first name or a cut of their last name or some weird way to distance themselves from
But
the
Facebook
family
is
name.
clamping down on that. They're like, no, you must have your real name.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. They made me put my real name up, sadly.
What did you have yours as?
Well, my nickname Steakhouse, and then I added the last name Meister. So my name was Steakhouse Meister. So everybody knew who I was, but like Ryan
Facebook said no.
Yeah, they. I had that for about 3 years, I think, and then one day they said, "Look, if this is your real name, prove it to us." And I couldn't.
Wow.
So I changed my name.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know that's kind of sucks, doesn't it? But there you go. But do you think employers have a right to look at your Facebook? I mean,
I think that's prying. I think that's looking at your social life. That's your private life.
yeah.
That is true. There is that distance between your private life and your social life. But I
think
do
about the way we talk to each other is not the way you talk to your students. Like,
No.
There's a way you talk professionally and a way you talk with...
Yeah, but as an employer, think about it like from their perspective. Look at how easy it is for someone, a student, to look up your name and see, oh, hey, just last weekend, Alex, Gavin, Ryan got shit-faced and did some crazy keg stands.
That's what people do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that stuff I'd make that private, I'd click on the friends only thing.
I mean,
Okay.
my whole profile is public, and I wonder if I should start setting it as private. I've never been that afraid of it. I wonder. My name's not that common, but I need to check this.
But at the same, again, that's one of the things that I thought about. Once prior to me starting work as a teacher, I had it completely public, I had no shame because, I was either a student or working in small business firms or doing sales or teaching smaller classes. But now that we're in bigger schools where, students have access to this prior to a class, any of our students can look up our information. We made those profiles for our work about, our work history, a little bit about ourselves. Do you remember doing those?
What, you mean
For
like
links?
LinkedIn? You've lost me.
Oh, I've done that with LinkedIn, but not with Facebook.
Yeah, you made a profile in your Facebook?
Oh, no. I was talking about at our work.
Oh, right. No, I
So
haven't
they have that information and they can look it up on Facebook.
What?
I don't know if they asked you about this or one of the other of our bosses.
Our instructional manager.
Yeah, our instructional manager.
No names.
So our pedagogical manager asked us to do a small profile about ourselves prior to us starting work. And I remember doing this and writing little bits.
I didn't do that.
Was it at?
I don't remember doing that, I have to say. I mean, I provided my CV and my certificates, but...
Oh, I'm sorry. No, this was at another company I applied for. Or I actually not applied for. I actually got a job at. But then I stopped. I didn't...
You chose our company over there.
Yeah, exactly. Actually,
Yeah.
it's funny because this is besides the point, but the way I got work at our company was because this other company that did give me a job actually gave me a contract prior to getting the work visa. And then I used that contract to get my work visa, and then I used the work visa to work at our company.
You're a
And then
naughty
I
boy,
stopped-
Ryan.
And then I just completely cut ties with that company that got me the work visa.
Weren't they pissed off at this?
I don't know, because I haven't contacted. They texted me for like the first few months and then just stopped because I think they understood that I just wasn't going to work for them. But I did talk to some of the workers who do work there, and they all kind of hated working there. So, but that was besides the point. Sorry to distract from the topic, but back on topic.
But I mean, if you were an employer, would you look at somebody's Facebook? Would you be tempted to try to find out more about them?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
You ask me, sitting here on this sofa, I'd say no, absolutely not. But
As an employer, I mean, don't you want to see how they are? Because Facebook would show maybe not their true self, but the side of themselves that they're willing to show.
Yeah. Okay.
And I suppose if they're willing to show this to Facebook, what aren't they willing to show? What are they hiding?
Yeah.
I think
Or
my
if that-
point is, right now, I can't put myself in this situation, but if I were to start a business, maybe I'd make some different decisions. I want to say I wouldn't. I want to say that I would leave that private, but...
It's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, if the information is on offer, I don't know, I think I might take a look. But then there's that part of me that says, no, it's not very nice, and there's some things that you don't really want to know about your employees as well, I guess.
Maybe
what's their favourite position in bed?
But maybe not for every candidate or applicant, but possibly for your most promising, you know? If you had to choose between a few of your favorites, maybe taking a quick look at their Facebook would show, hey, maybe this person's no surprises. If they're pretty polite on their Facebook and they're pretty wholesome and maybe not conservative, but maybe more reserved, then maybe that's a person that we can put more trust into than a person who just did a keg stand in a video 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
What do they call it? I've heard of people doing these... What is it called? Where you put like a fake profile of yourself that looks professional, that looks like you, but it's not really you. You post, I don't know, anything work-related and professional on one profile, and then you go on your other profile to post your keg stands.
That's kind of like my LinkedIn, I guess.
Yeah?
I sort of... but saying that, with my LinkedIn profile, I haven't exaggerated anything. I mean, it's difficult to anyway, because you sort of like, you fill out a criteria, don't you? So...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you look at my LinkedIn profile compared to my Facebook profile, or my open Facebook profile, it presents two very different people.
Okay. I can agree with that. My LinkedIn is quite a bit more professional. Actually, not quite.
A lot.
Dramatically more professional than my Facebook.
Yeah.
Work Ryan and Party Ryan.
Yeah. And actually, I don't think I've posted a picture to Facebook in several months. Mostly because I've been trying to wean myself off of this Facebook. Have to post everything, my whole life being on Facebook. But with LinkedIn, I don't know if you've had this, but LinkedIn, they kind of take not just LinkedIn itself, but previous employers do take the way you present yourself and their company, your previous employers, quite seriously. One of my previous employers for an insurance company actually emailed me saying, your LinkedIn profile is not portraying yourself exactly how your position was in our company and how we
Really?
want.
Shit.
Yeah. And it was crazy because my previous company sent me an email showing me exactly how I have to have my description of my position, how
No, these guys were fucking bullshit.
yeah, there was certain things I wasn't allowed to post onto my LinkedIn profile. I had to delete my entire endorsements and recommendations portion of my LinkedIn,
Oh my god.
mostly because of this particular employer. And I just thought, wow, like they really, not just LinkedIn itself, but your previous employers still kind of keep your LinkedIn in check, making sure that that stuff's on point.
But what would the consequences be if you refused to change your LinkedIn?
For mine, because I worked in insurance and I also worked in some asset management and investments. I mean, I don't know what the extent would have been, but I definitely would have had the SEC on my case about it.
Okay.
So that was more because my previous work had some investment aspects to it. So I did have to keep some of it in line with SEC regulations.
So the value of trust, I guess, would be the important factor then, would it?
Exactly. Plus, LinkedIn is really just your CV, your resume posted into social media. It's not.
When was the last time you updated anything on that shit, though?
This wasn't that long ago when
No?
I got that email.
Right, okay. I haven't done shit on that website in years.
I don't do much on it now, to be honest with you. I haven't updated it. But then again, the way I look at it is I work for myself these days, and I'm not really career-minded. I'm sort of looking after myself, if you know what I mean. It'd be nice if I got a lucrative contract somewhere, but I don't know. I seem to do well for myself. Yeah.
We're doing alright for ourselves, aren't we?
And in my case, social media is a big part of what I do.
Mm-hmm. I know, you spam the social media every weekend.
Yeah, okay.
I've seen.
But that's more of a marketing tactic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am a good spammer, even if I say so myself.
I can't deny that.
More than marketing, I feel like social media has promoted this sense of I don't want to say social justice, but social awareness.
Yeah.
You know, I did just watch this documentary, and it did explain how prior to social media, there was a complete lack of, how to put this, racism in mainstream media. And the fact that now we have so many platforms for the presentation of information and racial inequality, I feel like social media has played a huge part in that, and allowing people to see this social injustice in a really good light.
And it's worldwide as well, isn't it, with social media?
So, for stupid people like me, you're saying social media is a good thing or a bad thing?
Okay, it's a good thing in certain aspects. So I'm talking about racial injustice and the fact that in one aspect, it does bring a lot of light, but then there is also a lot of people who just post just to post.
Some people who post just to get on your fucking nerves, yeah.
Yeah, or just to bring attention to themselves as opposed to the topic.
The issue at hand.
The issue at hand, yeah, definitely. Good put.
Yeah.
Well put.
But a big thing, and it's not even recent, but it's recently been brought to light, is fake news. And how fake news spreads on social media as well. So we also have that aspect of social media too, don't we? So there's a positive aspect in that more people now are capable of critical thinking because we have more media outlets, but the potential for fake news is that much higher too, isn't it?
That's scary too. That's definitely scary. The whole fake news is something that wasn't even an issue until last year.
I'm going to derail you for a second though. Critical thinking. It's just been, like, a little while ago, April Fool's Day. The one day of the year where people actually evaluate shit they read on the internet before reposting it.
Yeah.
Yes, fake news has just become a thing last year, but people don't think about things. People don't criticize it before they get angry.
No, but the more points of view you have and the more elements you have, the more able you are to think critically, aren't you? So, for example, if you grew up reading the Daily Mail in the UK before the internet was around,
then you would not be capable of critical thinking.
Are you talking about Daily Mail, the website?
It's also a newspaper, but
okay.
only in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, the website as well.
Okay.
if we think back at a time before we used the internet in the way that we do now, if you grew up reading the Daily Mail in that time, and it's the same for the people reading The Sun, those readers, they had a loyal readership, and these people believed everything that was in these newspapers. They weren't capable of critical thinking because that's all they had available to them.
There are still people who only believe what they read in these newspapers.
Yeah, I know, but at least they have a chance now to see other points of view, whether they believe it or not.
That's something that I find so disheartening, is this lack of this journalistic integrity nowadays. Because now every Tom, Dick, and Nancy can have their own blog and come up first on Google search for, racial inequality, any particular topic, if they have the money for it, you know?
Speaking of Tom, Dick, and Harry, look at us.
Yeah, ourselves included. But this is what's scary, is that social media, and I do think that, yes, last year was the year that this whole concept of fake news, alternative facts,
Exploded.
really did explode, because prior to that, you really did have almost, I don't want to say a blind trust, but you were more inclined to believe what you read, not just on social media, but in news articles, because most of your news was coming through what I would hope to see as trustworthy sources. Us being university educated,
Yeah.
we understand the real rigorous vetting there is for everything to be peer reviewed, for journalistic integrity, and checking your sources.
But then again, peer review also doesn't mean very much if you grow up in an environment where all of your peers are as stupid as you. I mean, it's...
This is one way of putting it, Gavin.
I don't mean you personally, I mean, well, I know there are some groups of people in university, certain clubs or fraternities, and they're a bunch of fucking dummies.
Can be.
And can you imagine those doing peer reviews on each other? I mean...
But I'm thinking of peer-reviewed articles, you know? So it's not peer-reviewed by your peer in university.
Oh, right, okay.
It's peer-reviewed by another of the article writer's peers, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, if there's a theory, and the theory is stupid, but there are lots of people working on it, we're just as dumb as each other,
Okay.
then the peer review is not going to matter very much, is it? That's what I meant. But anyway, that's going. Sorry, I dragged you off the topic then.
No, I definitely think that what's something that's really lacking in social media is the ability of individuals to really vet their sources, you know? Told you guys,
How many times have you posted an article without reading it?
there has been a few times where I only read the headline and I was like, okay, yes, absolutely.
I used to do that, but I'm more careful now.
Me too.
Absolutely, exactly. I never repost anymore.
Definitely, especially in the last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Prior to this-
everything's just clickbait these days, isn't it?
Is it clickbait?
Clickbait.
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 Oh,
You've not
okay.
heard
Yeah,
it.
clickbait.
No, I thought you said clickbait. Clickbait. Yeah, definitely.
It's because I'm pure northern, isn't it?
Yeah, but
I thought you said clitlick.
oh,
but,
jeez.
uh,
Whoa.
To be clear,
We said
everything today is clickbait.
clickbait. Yeah.
clickbait. Yeah, okay.
There we go. I am
it's-
enunciating.
Sexy pics to make you click, or a clever or well written headline.
Something
Right.
sounds outrageous, and the article has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those things, they stick out like a sore thumb, don't they, for me now? It's like last week I had...
For you, but imagine
For the
5 years
masses.
ago if you saw
Yeah,
those headlines.
Yeah, for the masses, now more than ever, it is whatever catches your eye first. But that's something that I find so disheartening is the whole not really vetting your sources. I've told you guys prior to this that my mom is one of those people who will... It's the fact that the only articles that she does read are completely alt-right, completely conservative, completely right-wing,
alt-right.
yeah, right-wing, extreme conservative.
Can we call them Nazis? Can we just call them what they are?
I don't think they're Nazis.
I wouldn't say Nazis, but I think alt-right is easily the most appropriate.
I think there is some hope for these people. I mean, if you grow up in a certain community, in a certain generation, I know it's not really an excuse, but I think people do change as well. I mean, if I look at my own attitudes from 20 years ago, okay, I've never been a racist, but 20 years ago, yeah, I wouldn't say I was homophobic, but I definitely tried to stay away from gay people. But I think the more I've sort of grown up and grown used to the world, my attitudes have changed as well. And I think it's the same with the people that we consider alt-right now. I think that, you know, there's a possibility that they could change.
Do you think they're all like we were when we were young? I think, Ryan, you've had the same sort of phase where like, this is the way it is and this is not changing. I'm always going to be this way. Have you had that sort of extremist opinionist
For
phase?
me, I've actually haven't been like that. I've always typically been an open person, but more so post high school. Actually, prior to high school, I was quite religious and quite conservative. But post high school, going to university and exploring different religions and traveling the world, that really has opened my mind up to being open to quite everything, you know, really accepting the world as no longer black and white, as
It took me getting to university to accept the world that wasn't black and white.
yeah.
I mean, I was never racist or homophobic or anything. I've always been pretty open-minded, but my opinions were always very hard cast. It was, this is the way it is in my head.
But that's one thing I appreciate about social media is also that it does open up that door to other cultures and being
We
able
can't
to
have a
connect.
discussion. You just
Yeah.
need everybody in the discussion to
Yeah.
be...
But here's
I think-
one thing.
you know what I mean.
Sorry, Gav, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think in my case, it was just the fact that I grew up in a small community, a close-knit community, where things, maybe for 100 years, always worked the same way. And I think that's what sort of formed my attitudes until I moved out of the community and started growing
But Gavin, you are the only gay in the village.
But here's the dark side of social media is that for all those people who do welcome the people that they connect to, the people that they meet, the people from different cultures, there is that other side of it where the people who do use social media restrict those who have opposing views. And this is something that I've seen more than once, actually, on several different occasions, of people who I've talked to, where if the person has opposing views, for example, I bring up Trump being the easiest, if they do have opposing views, I've seen posts on their wall that'll say, if you do not support Trump in the way that I do, I will block you, I will delete you as a friend. And that's where I feel like instead of really seeing both sides, you really stand your ground and reject all opposing views, which is, I find, completely ignorant.
I am guilty of this. I unfriended someone because they were a Trump supporter. I feel quite guilty now, but at the time I was like, fucking hell.
Well, the thing is, just some of the things that people come out with, it's like, I know the difference between a Trump supporter and somebody who's racist or somebody who's just maybe Islamophobic. And I always make the distinction for the reason is, I can understand why some people are worried about refugees coming in. I'm not naive. I can see why there could be difficulties. But to dislike someone just because of their religion, or dislike someone because of the colour of their skin, which has nothing to do with
it. Or just because they're a refugee, or just because they're an immigrant.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, with refugees, at least in my opinion, it's a little bit different, because a lot of people come into one area at one time, and there needs to be some kind of control. I don't think you can just let everybody in unchecked. Theoretically, I think it would be a nice idea, but, there's always going to be difficulties, aren't there, with that? But as far as people who talk about don't like somebody because of their skin color or religion or something, I mean, for me, that's just completely stupid, and I can't get along with it.
Yeah.
But then again, this is for social media. It was these were friends that I had in high school who were just like, I will delete you for either being a Trump supporter or being anti-Trump.
I have done this. I feel quite guilty.
And not that it's a bad thing, but for the pure fact that they're being a Trump supporter, okay, I wouldn't say I'm guilty of it, but I do definitely ignore or kind of brush off comments made by people who are ignorant. But yes, I do also feel like I am one of those people who, if the person was a full-on head-on Trump supporter, I would maybe not delete them off my friends list, but I definitely would hide their posts.
And I think partly this idea is to blame, that because we can delete people with opposing views, we end up with an echo chamber on Facebook.
Exactly.
Because we're not willing to talk, we're not willing to discuss things anymore. This is why we have Brexit, this is why we have Trump. I think that's partly the problem. And
exactly.
The problem with me is I do get a little bit impatient with people, so I'll try to discuss something with someone, and I can also be a bit arrogant sometimes and say, look, okay, you're being mule-headed, I'm not going to get through to you, I'm going to let you in, just leave me alone. I do this sometimes because I lose my patience with some of these people, but
you can't get everybody to see your point of view.
Exactly.
No, that's the problem.
And what I think one of the big problems is that Facebook is not the venue where you should be, or the platform where you should be having this kind of discussion. Because of this divide, you are just text on a screen. If you were to be having this discussion, it should be in person. It should be over the phone. It should have intonation with it, because that's where you really see, the conviction.
But I think this is the thing with social media is you see something and it's so quick, you decide strike while the iron's hot, and then you got to write something. Okay?
I know, and then you write this really keyboard warrior comment, and you're so much more aggressive than you would be in person.
Yeah. But for me, my point is, I have tended to wean myself off of Facebook, but...
Me too, I'm not using it as much as I used to.
Yeah, but for you to completely reject all opposing views and to kind of hide that, just like Alex says, it just echoes what you want to hear. It's people who create conversations only to hear what they want to hear.
But sometimes it's difficult to put up with other people's stupidity, though, isn't it? I mean, it's all very well engaging in dialogue with these people, but then they'll come up with things, you present something to them, and they dismiss it completely out of hand. It's like, no, I'm not listening to it. And then I sort of feel like, okay, I'm not listening to you. I don't know. It's
But it is worth giving them a shot and letting the opposing side voice their opinion. But yes, it does seem, specifically for anyone Trump supporting, it does seem like ignorance as opposed to genuine progression as a country. It just feels like they just want complete isolation as opposed to, I don't know, integration of anything, any form. But regardless of that, it is worth seeing the opposing side, because I have heard prior to the election results some, I wouldn't say
I just can't believe that. I was so
acceptable.
surprised in November. I was
Absolutely.
so disappointed.
I wouldn't say acceptable reasonings behind some of the votes, but I did see the opposing views, and to a certain extent, I can say I possibly understand.
How many of these Trump supporters do you think are simply Hillary haters?
Absolutely,
A
good
large
amount.
proportion, actually. I think
Again,
if Trump were running against
a
Obama,
man or a man in general,
or a man in general,
any other man, it probably.
South Park said it. Today we learned that a president can be anybody except a woman. No, what was it? I totally fucked up that quote, but you know what I mean.
To a certain degree, I think I know what. I totally agree. If it was any of the other candidates against Trump, it probably would have been any of the other candidates.
But Hillary has already been in the political spotlight. If it had been a newcomer, even if it were a woman, I think she would have done better.
Oh my goodness!
If Michelle Obama had run against him.
That's true. That's true.
Just- What was wrong with Bernie Sanders?
Oh, Oprah Winfrey. That would be perfect.
Oprah Winfrey,
Oprah Winfrey
2020.
for president.
2020.
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, if he makes it to that year, living wise. But I do feel like social media has shaped a lot of the ways that,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
has shaped a lot of the ways that people did vote and did make opinions on each of the candidates. One thing that I would like to note before we wrap up is how dominant, or maybe pro-dominant, that Bernie Sanders was on social media during the election, and how mainstream media was completely...
I think it's the same with Ron Paul as well. He was running for election, I think, in the time before. Maybe this time too. The problem is, those people, they're followed by conspiracy theorists as well. They've got strong support among conspiracy theorists. People then don't take them seriously, do they? Do you think that plays a factor? Or?
I wonder. I don't know this one. I can't
Yeah,
answer that one.
for Ron Paul himself, I couldn't voice my opinion, but I do feel like social media does play an important factor, but it is this conflict between mainstream media and social media.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just before we finally wrap up, I don't know if you know, but 21st Century Fox are about to buy Sky, the Sky Network.
No way.
God fucking help us, honestly.
Yeah, we're all fucked.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And, Rupert Murdoch from Sky, he owns practically all of the newspapers in the United Kingdom,
You know,
Australia.
he owns everything.
He
We're all
owns
just
Sky.
So an American company is about to
And-
buy out what I assume is a European media company.
Yeah, well, Rupert Murdoch is
jeez.
Australian, isn't he? But he's...
No, he's American. He's so patriotic, he gave up his nationality.
Yeah, so he was British, and now he's American. He was Australian, then he's British, now he's American.
Fuck knows anymore.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's all bonkers, isn't it?
Well,
This is our life.
But, Fox are about to buy Sky.
Mm-hmm.
They've been given the go-ahead, so maybe social media is going to be our source of information for the future. Unless Fox buy that too. Anyway, we're going to have to wrap that up, aren't we, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so thank you for listening. Thank you for letting us waste your time, and we hear you next time.
yeah. So
Hang on.
if you have comments, suggestions, please leave them at the bottom, as well as subscribe and like. We appreciate those as well.
How has media, social media, changed our political climate and the way we live our lives? Let us know in the comments below.
Definitely.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.